as troubleshooting measure. The Igbo apex umbrella body, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, is urging the federal government to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is brought to court, an action which would make his followers confirm that he's alive and well, contrary to rumors on social media that he is sick and taken overseas for treatment. Meanwhile, the federal government has brought fresh charges against Kanu, one of which is terrorism, arguing that his broadcast led to the killing of security agents. During the last court session, Nnamdi Kanu wasn't around, and okay, let me start from Olabisi. The last court session, Nnamdi Kanu wasn't brought, and that's a lot of people went to Abuja. They wanted to see him, witness that the court session. So the DSS said they could not provide him because of logistics and everything. So right now they have another court case on Thursday. What and what should you look out for?
I think this is a very simple matter. The federal government is keeping Nnamdi Kanu in his custody, which is well known to everybody. And this is supposed to be a judicial procedure, right? And part of that procedure is that if you charge somebody for any offense and the case is in court, the person should be produced in court. Now, if the federal government continues to fail to produce Nnamdi Kanu, it is opening room for suspicion, unnecessary one, maybe for that matter, because rumors thrive when this kind of situation exists. I do not know the reason why the DSS did not produce Kanu at the last sitting, more so when everybody was thinking that it should be there. Now, on Thursday, I'm expecting that whatever the case is, even if Nnamdi Kanu is ill, I think it should be produced. Let people see him. Let them know that he's alive. Because now some people are saying that it's been taken elsewhere, it's been taken to someone medical, which, you know, a lot of people say different kinds of things just to whip up emotions sometimes. So government should not give room for such a rumor to continue to fly. So for me, one of the ways of preventing that is to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is produced in court come this Thursday. And now that even the Ohanaeze has come out to make that formal demand that they should make sure that it's produced in court, I think they should just look at it from that perspective and just let him be there. I mean, producing him in court is not the same thing as releasing him. In any case, and it's just to calm frayed nerves, and then to also show that, to also prove that the government is also sincere about democratic tenets. You get it? Because it's not a dictatorship. If you have an issue and the court is there, that is essence of the court. The court is supposed to look at the issues dispassionately and now arrive at whatever judgments. At least they should just allow that to hold. They should allow the process to take place, and because I believe that will calm frayed nerves. Then I don't want to talk about the charges because you have not asked me. That one is another issue.
A lot of people are saying, a lot of leaders are calling for political solution to this case. And the political solution that situation by they go into dialogue, leaders of the East go into dialogue with the federal government, and they come up with the kind of amicable way of settling this this case, because it's within the power of the federal government to actually discontinue the charges against him. But instead of that, what we are seeing now, we are seeing fresh charges filed against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
Talking about the fresh charge, the Attorney General is accustomed to that. It's his style. Remember, after they lost their case against Ndigbo, they had to come up with a fresh charge. They brought up new listen because what he said before was that they were going to appeal, but I think they looked at that matter and some of the excesses of the DSS when they stormed his house and told themselves that it would be difficult for them to win in any court of law. But the videos are even in public domain, vehicles being smashed, somebody being dragged on the ground, blood everywhere and all that.
People died.
Yeah, so they then decided that, okay, we are even going to file a fresh this thing. So that is their own way of responding to situations in the law court. Maybe they believe that they have more cast iron evidence against Kanu now that they didn't have before. Maybe they've looked at the case and felt, look, if we filed this fresh charge and we bring evidence of terrorism, we stand a good chance of having him convicted. Maybe that's why they've come up with this. But I'm not really surprised. It's within his rights to do that as Attorney General, and we've seen him do that a number of times. So, but the way things are, and I've said it before, if you got Kanu arrested, if you went through all that pain in a foreign land, having arrested because you wanted to bring him to justice in his country, then why are you reluctant to bring him to court? Why are you reluctant? You cannot, you want to put him on trial. Then put him on trial, let the people see that he's on trial. When you keep him away from the court, despite the judge asking that on so day bring him before me, then you are sending a clear signal that he may not get a fair trial. And that is the fear that a lot of his loyalists have. That one, he will not get a fair trial. Then when he's physically brought to court, it calms frayed nerves that at least is hale and hearty. When they see him in court, they will be convinced that, oh, this person, nothing has happened to him, because the rumor out there is, oh, the Nigerian authorities want to kill him, this and that. The Nigerian armed forces, the Nigerian authorities have what it takes to secure the precincts of the courtroom and bring Kanu to court and take him back to prison when they want. I mean, it's Abuja, for God's sake. It's not Lagos. It's not Lagos. It's not, we're not talking about a crowded area where maybe they could hijack the vehicle and all that and cause me. It's Abuja, and it is in one of the most secure
three-arm zone.
Yes, areas in our country that this trial is taking place. So there's no reason in the world. If the DSS and the Office of the Attorney General does not want people in the Southeast to suffer indescribable pain, bring this fellow to court. They have said that on the 21st of October, if you don't bring him to court, that they are going to order a 30-day sit at home.
Already, the Monday thing.
People already, this sit at home has inflicted too much pain on the people.
Hardship.
When you look at IPOB, the most potent weapon in the hands of IPOB at this time is this sit at home thing.
Honestly,
they don't have any other weapon
fear
that is greater than that. Civil disobedience is the norm all over the world, but their own version of civil disobedience is a particularly dangerous one, because when you now go against it, you risk losing your life.
And it cripples everything.
You risk losing your life. So people will stay in their homes, motor parks, schools, everywhere will be shut down, banks. So can you even imagine 30 days. Let no one think that it is impossible.
Of course it is.
Because people fear those guys more than anything. Even if it's 5 days or 3-4 days, it's painful enough, it's bad enough, and you can issue all the threats in the world. People will hide inside their houses. So we don't want that to happen. Bring the man to court. Let him face trial. Let him face trial. Let him confront his prosecutors in court. It's as simple as that.
Okay, I have Oluwatosin calling us from Ikorodu in Lagos State.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us, Tosin.
Now this I can't get now. I've been assigned from months.
Oh, Tosin, congratulations. You're on now.
You are a great man.
Thank you, man.
You are a great man. I follow you everywhere on social media.
Me too, I'm following you like a shadow.
I follow you. You know why I love you? You have passion. You have passion for people who you don't even come for their side.
Yes.
You are so passionate about the North, and you feel their pain.
That's the way it should be, madam.
I just want to talk to you, to ask you that how can we do this? This are today. Because sometimes I believe that the leaders are not interested in the plight of the masses. Unfortunately, the masses are also too ignorant to demand accountability of their leaders. That is the reality. But I know one day we'll get there.
Thank you, Tosin.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, and congratulations for getting through for the first time after many months. It's so now what we are looking at now is the leaders in the East. Like I read that the candidate of the Young People's Party, that's in Anambra State, Uba, is saying that he wants to go to court so that he will be allowed to see him and ask him. You want to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to ask him about the breakdown of security in the East. Is it from his own group? Do you understand? Now, after the attack in his father's house in Abia State, he took off. As in, he said because of the threat to his life, so he couldn't continue that trial. As at that time, the trial is standing now. So after that now, the federal government, they're saying that his activities after that time, through Sarah reporters, through some other medium, that they have more evidence against him to really nail him and, you know, to point out that he's responsible for some things.
Actually, what the federal government is saying is that they think that they are actually using trying to use terrorism to file a charge of terrorism, to establish a charge of terrorism against him. I think that is what they are trying to do now, and they are saying that on April 22nd, 2021, when Kanu made some broadcast, that broadcast led to attacks on military personnel, security operatives, and all of that. And they are trying to say that all the deaths of security operatives that have been recorded in the Southeast may be connected to that broadcast that he made in London and all of that. So I think beyond the fact that he broke jail, because he was not supposed to travel. He jumped bail. He jumped bail. Now, in addition to that, they have brought this to it. And you see, when it comes to terrorism, the federal government has its own definition of terrorism. You get it? More so when IPOB has been outlawed by the federal government. So I think the government is thinking that may give it an opportunity to actually nail Kanu. But you see, my concern is, how is it that the federal government is pushing this case so fast like this and is not putting the same energy into fighting other problems in the country. For example, some people believe that Boko Haram are terrorists.
Oh, they are terrorists.
Yeah, okay.
Even government designated them terrorists.
Okay, now, do we see this kind of fight against insurgents as against an individual? Because it will not be good for the federal government to create the impression that it is against a particular set of people. And even the country is so divided as it is, that I think all we should be doing is to look for reconciliations, whichever way we can achieve it.
Joseph is calling us from Ikorodu. I think Ikorodu people today, they are very lucky. Thank you for joining us, Joseph.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Well done, please, we adore your platform so well.
Thank you.
And thank you for your balanced opinion. Well, back to the first discussion on these banditry and other things. Now, Nigeria needs to stem up, especially our president. And we need to cure what is really causing this banditry. Expressed by what Baba said, that we have a very large, a very long boundary across the northeast, the northwest and northeast. Those places have to be taken care of. And second, Nigeria is so much, we are indebted to ourselves, especially in getting peace in the country. So we want the president to probably intervene and make things more political as a father, especially on this Kanu issue.
Thank you.
And bring things
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for your contribution. Babajide, the followership and people that are sympathetic to the cause of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is growing by the day. No thanks to the
Passive marginalization
of the Southeast. I think rather than pushing more of this, the court case, I think it will be better that we should adopt that dialogue for peace to reign in the southeastern part of the country. We can't afford implosion in the southeast again.
Yeah, I agree that we should push more in the direction of dialogue. And I know that the Southeast Caucus of the National Assembly had been working on that, looking for a political solution. A lot of them can't go home. They can't stay in their homes. We have gunmen taking out buildings belonging to governors. So if governors as so-called chief security officers in their states can't even protect their own property, then everyone should be concerned. The reason I'm pushing, I'm advising government to also look in the direction of dialogue is because some of the most deadly wars, the world has seen, always end up at the negotiation table. I spoke last week about the battle between Colombia and the FARC rebels. They couldn't defeat the FARC rebels for up to 60 years. Now,
60.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. Now,
60.
And with hundreds and hundreds of people killed, now they've had to negotiate, and those killings have been brought down drastically because of the disposition of the present leader of Colombia towards peace. Yes, there are still some disparate groups that came out of FARC that are still committing their own criminality, still killing people. But no one would deny the fact that Colombia is no longer in the news the way it used to be, because they've chosen to say, okay, let us approach dialogue. Ohanaeze is also pushing for dialogue at this time. It's not because of fear, but it's because of the near collapse, near descent, total descent to anarchy in the southeast. Because a situation in which a group of marauding gunmen will be issuing instructions, issuing orders, and IPOB will say, no, we have said no more sit at home except on the days that Kanu is brought to court. But some group of boys are on their own enforcing an order that the people who instituted the order have already revoked. That is to tell you that anarchy has come. Anarchy has come. And the governors have been unable to stop that descent towards anarchy. They've been unable, they failed in that area. The people don't respect them.
They are not in charge.
I was telling you, a governor was complaining about another governor that, look, he caused this whole problem. If I say it a little more now, they will know who the governor that spoke to me. You know, even amongst them, even among the governors of the Southeast, there is no unity. There is no unanimity as to how we can solve this problem.
That's why they can't, we have good things, they can't just...
No, and some of them are even staying away from meetings for political reasons. Some governors are by nature even cowardly. The same cowardly attitude that they have extended to signing death warrant of people legally convicted by courts.
By the courts.
Sign the thing, let them go and have a date with their maker. You can't sign. You can't sign. But you can do anything to get to leadership. You can rig election, commit all kinds of crimes, but to sign warrant that, okay, this person, let him go and meet his maker, you cannot do it. But you can call the army. Oh, chief of army staff, send your people. They are disturbing us here. Some boys are disturbing us. You will be happy to have soldiers kill people. But you, people who are legally permitted to be killed by the courts, you lack the balls to sign. So this is the thing, and our prisons are filled to the brim. With awaiting trial. Awaiting execution with people on death row. So this is the thing. We cannot, if you have a problem, you are finding it difficult to solve that problem, approach other means. Let's not be unidirectional. To simply think that it is by convicting Kanu that we can bring an end to this thing is being unidirectional. Let's approach other means. All we are interested in is peace. It's no other thing, and it's not then. But although I know that even provides, that creates a problem on its own. How do we get Kanu himself to behave himself and stop those activities designed to bring down our country? How? So if there can be guarantee that it will stop all of those, yes, because you can't. I don't expect President Buhari, for example, to agree to dialogue unless there are very strong guarantees that the person who has been causing problem, telling people to take up arms and all that, agrees to renounce his methods and then pursue peaceful means.
And stop calling the country a zoo.
No, of course we are not a zoo. I don't live in a zoo. So that's if they can get that guarantee. I think that's what Ohanaeze and the Southeast Caucus of National Assembly should be pushing for. Can the man himself guarantee that, look, he will put an end to this whole thing?
Okay. I have Garuba. Garuba is calling from Makurdi, Benue State.
Good morning, Ayo. Good morning. Good
evening, Garuba.
Good evening, Ayo. And the lady there in the studio. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Honestly, Ayo, I'm urging the federal government to look for a way that they have dialogue with those guys. Here in Makurdi, I have a friend that are from East. They are always alleging to those guys. In fact, there's some that told me that he didn't even believe that the Kanu that was arrested. I'm telling you, we're living here together. So definitely this thing have to look at political solution to it. No need of pressing another charges on this young man. I'm urging on the elite from that side to come together, the chiefs, and meet the president. Let's get away that we have dialogue with these guys. If not, I'm sorry to say it, we have a repeat of Boko Haram in the northeast, happening in Lagos.
Thank you for your contribution. In towing that line, we know after the dialogue, the Attorney General and the others of the President has the power to enter a nollie prosecute and discontinue the case. But that's subject to if that will be a political solution. Yeah. But if we see this through, if the federal government decide to continue with these fresh charges and they want to convict him, the people in the East might not be too happy.
They might not be too happy, and I don't even think we need that. I don't think as a nation we need that. I think we have too many problems right now. So the best way to, or don't let me say the best way, I think it will be better if the federal government can pursue the path of dialogue. Because at the end of the day, it's about governance, it's about democracy, it's about, giving people a sense of belonging in their country. And I think the earlier we do that, the better, because like the case is cited, at the end of the day, even after war, we still come back to dialogue. We don't have to go to war before we come to dialogue. I think it's a cheaper way of achieving peace.
And Nigeria, I think the federal government will need to do more to convince Nigerians so that the guys in the southeast, they can start seeing Nigeria as their country. But right now, the way it is, most of them are not seeing Nigeria as their country. They want to.
A good number of them think that the southeast is being marginalized, and what the Ohanaeze people are pushing for is a dialogue that will address all of the concerns of people from this part of the country. And these are legitimate concerns. It didn't start with this administration. It didn't start with this administration, and hopefully before the end of this administration, those concerns will be addressed and they will see themselves as an integral part of our nation and be proud to wear the badge of our nation. That's what we want to see. The dialogue thing, I still think that is worth pursuing even while the case is on. You can be pursuing the dialogue option on the side. That is what is called negotiating from a position of strength. That is what is called negotiating to not fail. Diplomats will say we shall never fail to negotiate, but we shall never negotiate to fail. So they can go side by side even with the court matter. Then ultimately, when you can see that yes, there is light at the end of the tunnel, you can then decide to drop those charges and everyone becomes happy and all that. So it's what we want to see. We want peace in that area. We want peace in that area, and whatever sacrifice is to be done to make that happen,
peace we must achieve.
We must do it.
Olabisi Deji for today. Thank you for your contribution today.
Thank you for having me.
Coming. And the master himself, Bajide Kolade, and that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast this night around 11 p.m. And don't forget to join us Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. See you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria.